In this video, I'll be giving an update on subworks and the regularity in which I'd be posting in. Because back then, when I was starting out in October, November, I still didn't have any proper content on the channel. I didn't have anything on the channel basically. So my plan then was to build up. My plan was to just dive in. That's literally all I did. I just dived in, no plan whatsoever. I just dived in. No, all risk, all high risk, high reward. That's basically the way. Because if I thought about it, there'd be too much thinking, too many plots. So I just went in, dived in, and then see everything at the front, and then slowly I got into editing. Slowly I got into, I was already in graphic designing a bit. So slowly I put the graphic designing into the YouTube. So that was something I did. Got better at the video editing, got better at speaking in front of the camera, got the content that I was producing. And that's basically, and then there was the podcast as well, which I started. That's another thing. And then the content then that's just what I ended up pushing for. So that was October, November, December sort of slowed because it was slowed down in my release schedule because of the content. It was a festive season, so it slowed down. And then January started picking up a bit more because I was back to work now, setting up my things, getting in gear. And that was my plan for January. Now in February, varsity is open now, second year electrical engineering, and looking at the things in front of me right now, I just have 4 things that I'm working on basically. Everything else has been cut for the most part. So the 4 things is my schoolwork, and then is the podcast. After the podcast is the YouTube channel. There's a YouTube channel, and then after the YouTube channel, there's a newsletter. So basically, those are the 4 things that have stayed in all the workload that I've been in. Those are the 4 things that I've deemed to be worth pursuing continuously and forward with what I have. So on schoolwork, well, I guess that kind of speaks for itself, given the amount of work you need to put in, given that it's also engineering. So it's the given to put in work school-wise, I guess, regardless of the course. It's a given that schoolwork will be first, since I chose to do it and I'm here. So schoolwork, regardless, that's a given that it has its own work. And then there's the podcast as well. I have podcast. There's some guests that I have, and podcast, there's a lot of, I guess, editing involved, but then it's editing involved with the YouTube and the schoolwork and the newsletter. So podcast is just another thing that I'm working on, where I'm getting to speak to people. There are many different perspectives that I'm getting to learn, I guess. Some things that I'm also remembering, talking to old friends as well. And I guess right now, filming this episode on the, what is it now? On the 6th of February, when it's like at least, it's 10:45 right now. But anyway, on the 6th of February, I guess I'm on what's officially been released is the 6th episode, but right now I just filmed the 9th episode, I think, and then 10th was also in the works. So that's why I am podcast wise. There's a lot of content that's being made, a lot of people I'm talking to, a lot of ideas being shared, a lot of ideas I'm also getting from other people, and just ways to think about it, and just interesting perspectives that I'm learning. And yeah, I just need to edit that and then share it with you guys. So that's on the podcast. And then on the YouTube, there are some things that I'm planning, tiptoeing trying to figure out what I wanna release, what I wanna publish, how to do it, I guess, in a way that's meaningful and provides value to you guys as the viewers. And also figuring out why am I perhaps doing a certain video over another, why am I doing these many videos, and trying to cut down, I guess, on what am I doing, why am I doing it. So aside from the podcast, that's another reason why my YouTube schedule is dropping a bit. And also to increase the quality of it is to the quality of my YouTube videos as well, to research and also find the proper I'd say stock media in a sense, or just media outside to transition for my YouTube channels from. So it's not just me speaking, but it's also visuals. So from time to time they will be speaking depending on the topic, but I also wanna try out different formats with my videos. So yes, that's another thing YouTube wise that's gonna expand my releasing schedule YouTube wise. And then lastly we have the newsletter. So on the newsletter side, basically on that one, I'm planning on, my writing schedule has been up and down. So firstly, when I didn't have the YouTube channel, I used to write perhaps maybe once every 2 weeks. That's when I'd be able to release. Sometimes we may release, I guess when I was starting out in March, that's when I released 3. And it's almost been a year now since I've been writing, but I wanna write more consistently. The less my mind has less places to jump around from, so I wanna focus on the newsletter because that's another avenue that I find and see is important, and that's something that I need to do. Different from all the YouTube and the talking, the writing and the newsletter is just me looking at the page, focusing. It's just me and the words, and then the words are a representation of me and what I'm thinking, my expressions. So cutting, so that's a cut. That's now looking at that and cutting parts and pieces that aren't truly what I want to express, and then getting to the true words that I want to express. So that's on the newsletter side, and that's something I want to do over at least once a month. That's a So I'm gonna start there, release at least once a month, and then pick up the habit and then properly release occasionally. That's what I'm sitting. So with the schedule, then what it's gonna look like perhaps is that YouTube, there are a lot of things that I'm planning and that I could, perhaps some things take less time than others. Some things I have more time to research on the side. Some things are much easier to record. So on the YouTube side, perhaps maybe I can't exactly say, because maybe some weeks, depending on what I want to release, on some weeks I may release one video every 3 weeks or one video every 2 weeks. Sometimes I release maybe 2 videos per week. It depends on it depends on how busy I am that week and what I have. It depends on how busy I am that week, what I'm releasing, the type of content I'm releasing, and just the work schedule in that particular week, and how much time I have to do a certain thing, if you guys get what I'm saying. And then on the podcast, basically as soon as if I'm able to finish one podcast and then release, and I'm able to work on the next one, and so on. But of course, if you want to be a guest as well on the podcast, then don't hesitate to send me an email and say you want to be on the podcast. Then there's no problem. Perhaps there's a guest whose view you don't perhaps agree with, or you may agree with, but you want to present your different side of the view. Then of course I'm open to podcast guests who want to express their views, express what they think about a particular thing. Perhaps you feel there's a certain area or aspect that isn't touched on much by others that people aren't understanding. Then feel free once again to just send me an email. This link is in the description on the podcast, saying you want to join in, the topics you want to talk about, and then you can get into them. And so that's the podcast. YouTube channel, I'm not sure when I'm releasing. I can't give you a exact schedule since I'm still seeing what I'm doing, what I'm touching on, but we'll see as we go along. And then the newsletter, I'm hoping that will be once a month. And then there's schoolwork, and on that one, there isn't much I can say on schoolwork besides it's a given that it needs to be done, and besides that, I'll just see where I move from there. And that's basically the 4 things that I'm focusing on right now. And yeah, to finish off though, I got a new mic. It's the Fafine K68, a new upgrade to Subworks in general, I guess. Whether it be podcast, whether it be YouTube, it's a new upgrade to the podcast. Hope you can see the RGB lighting. That's another fun thing about it. And then for all people who want to know what type of mic this is, this is a dynamic mic with a cardboard pattern or cardioid pattern, whichever one. It's either cardboard or cardioid, whatever I guess consonant, whether the B or the D it is. It's one of those. And this is just an upgrade. If you want to see more upgrades, then please make sure to subscribe so that I'll be able to so I can reach that subscriber milestone where I'm able to upgrade this channel to get better quality equipment to provide better videos for you guys that are of value. And well, also please subscribe to the Subworks podcast and the Subworks YouTube channel so I can afford to hire an editor, because there's a lot of editing work, and that's the main thing that's slowing me down is the editing. So yeah, please do subscribe and share so people around know and also get value as well, and also to spread and grow the community, and so that there's more, so that I'm able to get better equipment to create better videos. And if you have topics and things that you want me to touch on, then be sure to comment down below saying you want me to touch on this topic, etc. And that's basically it. I hope the sound quality from this mic is good, and perhaps you can also hear the upgrade. Maybe I should go back to the lavalier mics that I had. These mics that I had, maybe they were good. Maybe just talking to the phone was good. I'll hear from you guys which one you think is better, but from testing it out, I think the Fafine K6 I think it's 658. Forgot the specification, but I think the Fafine K658, I think it's a big upgrade. Still not sure what I'm gonna use it for, but I think it's a big upgrade. I'm gonna use it here and there. And comment down below if you like the upgrade, if you think it's good. And if you like the upgrade, then be sure to subscribe, and so that I can continue upgrading, producing more content, and so I can get an editor, because the balancing schoolwork, subworks, the podcast, and the newsletter, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but not in a negative sense, but time consuming wise, there isn't. It's a pity I have 24 hours in the day. So yeah, I guess that's subscribe so that I can get an editor, then I can produce more content in less time. Share if you found. Share to let other people know. Like if you like this video, and with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.